I think it was over something like about a period of about 16 weeks. So our social worker came out to us weekly, and within that week she'd have given us almost like homework, so to say. So you'd have various topics like education, your lifestyle, living at home with your parents, any previous marriages, finances.
Everything, our
ethnic
history.
backgrounds, anything to sort of, and, just getting a complete picture about yourself.
Don't think I've done that much homework since school, probably.
But it was quite enjoyable.
But it was really good. So we definitely had lots of things to talk about.
Yeah.
We talked a lot. And there was a paperwork and doing the homework, finding out. We had courses.
Yeah.
Meeting new people.
It's quite in depth. But the way that they asked the questions, they made you feel comfortable telling them. So it was the process was fine.
And my social worker made it as comfortable as it could be, talking about really, really difficult and really upsetting things that have happened in the past, things that I dealt with, things that I thought I dealt with.
It was hard, it was emotional. I cried a few times. Not that I'm used to that at all. I'm a crier. And it did get to me at some points.
It felt intrusive to the point of wanting to know everything, ins and outs of your family background, your own background, how you grew up.
It wasn't, as I remember it, a particularly happy childhood, so it's not something I really wanted to visit. Yeah, there are very few good memories. And I didn't like that part of it. But I've got to say that it's something that they've got to do. Even though I found it difficult, I had to go through this because I had to prove that, yes, I am capable of looking after a youngster.
So there were a lot of moments when, we were providing evidence to the social worker, and actually it was almost evidence to ourselves. It was proving what we truly felt about the process.
So they're preparing you for panel, so by the time you get to panel, you'll know whether or not where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are, and how you're going to then overcome those weaknesses to give the support that you need to the child.
For me, the assessment process was as much a self-discovery process as it was trying to articulate things you already knew to somebody else, so that they could fill in a report about you. I think it was at times really challenging to look at yourself and go, am I doing these things for the right reasons? Am I going into this with a clear understanding about what is involved and what it means, not just for the child, but for us as parents?
Training was so insightful. It covered things I hadn't even thought about really within the process. There was a lot of training on the process itself, like the legal steps, and a lot about theraplay and paced parenting, which was so useful, wasn't it?
The training was amazing. It was on for 3 days, I think it was, and it was like 9 till 4, but the entire time you were engrossed, and the more that you were learning, the more you wanted to find out.
But the most, I think, enlightening thing about the preparation training was just hearing sort of case studies and examples about what adoptive children go through, and it was just so eye-opening, wasn't it?
Yeah, and powerful.
No, she wasn't making things too pretty, because I think sometimes there can be too many positive things, but you don't hear about negative things, and I think it can be quite beneficial if you do know about them. So it was really good.
She didn't make any bones about the fact that this could be one of the hardest things you do ever. It's not for everybody, and they kind of sometimes put obstacles in your way to see how committed you are, which is great, because if you're not that committed, you shouldn't be adopting,
Just hearing those stories, sort of 6 hours on a Zoom call a couple of days a week, it was hard going, wasn't it?
It was.
But I think we did 3 days, didn't we?
4.
4?
Yeah, 4.
I finished the first 2 in tears. It's a common theme. Because some of the stories that we were talking about, and you then start to think these things that they're telling us they're real, they happened.
I think the thing that made the whole process, the assessment process, easy was my assessing social worker. She made it incredibly easy. She was really thoughtful. She took her time and was really funny, and we had a lot of laughs. We had a lot of tears and everything in between.
It was fun, it was interesting, it was two-way conversations. There was a lot of exercises to make you really think about the process and about how to approach different scenarios with children. A lot of stuff we haven't even thought about, was it? But it was really insightful.
I mean, the whole process started in the January. That's from the first kind of course that we went on with Mary. And we had our little boy at the end of January the following year.
I think the matching process was the section or the part that felt like it was taking an eternity to happen. I found out about my little one at the end of September. So actually from me learning about my little one in September to going to matching panel in November and then meeting her a week after was actually really quite quick. So the whole process was well less than a year to me actually being a mum.